Thank you, Molly, for introducing us. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here to discuss how smart breakfasts can help students to succeed each day in school. Here are the objectives that we will be discussing today. We will be learning best practices and tips to better design our school's breakfast program. This will provide top-notch brain-boosting energy for students. We will discuss ideas for scratch preparation with an emphasis on protein to enhance breakfast meals. To improve the accessibility and convenience of our meals to increase student participation, and to receive a new resource, a Smarter Breakfast Scorecard, to help market your program and nudge students to make healthier choices at breakfast. Here we have a great example of a welcoming breakfast service line with student-inspired artwork at Manhattan Christian School. Let's take a moment to use our chat box to share. So I'm curious of those participating, who has a breakfast program and who is interested in starting one? Please put in the chat box "start" if you want to start your breakfast program, or "improve" if you would like to improve upon your program. Looks like we have 2 improves so far. Three improves. Four improves. I do not see anybody who is looking to start a program, but what we will be discussing today will be for both new programs or ones that are already implemented. So why is breakfast important? We grew up being told that breakfast was the most important meal of the day, but why is this? Children often come to school with an empty tank. How can we expect them to focus? When children eat breakfast, they are more likely to actively participate in class since they have energy fueled by breakfast. Children come into the classroom with a better attitude and are more ready to learn after eating a healthy meal. We cannot guarantee that our children receive a balanced breakfast before they walk onto campus. If we serve breakfast to children at the start of their day, we are preparing them for success. Breakfast after the bell and other expanded breakfast models have been a success in bringing up participation, overall wellness, and a sense of community in the classroom. Since Montana schools have seen success with the Smarter Lunchroom Scorecard, we wanted to have the same principles applied for breakfast meals. The 26 strategies on the breakfast scorecard help nudge students to make the healthy choice the easier choice. The setup of the service line and atmosphere of the cafeteria can really shape the decisions that students make. Please consider this a tool to enhance your program. Any strategy unchecked could be an opportunity to implement a change to nudge healthier. As we can see from looking at the scorecard, we can figure out how to enhance the wellness of any breakfast program. The breakfast scorecard has categories to help schools make realistic goals to serve more nutritious meals in a positive environment. These categories include focusing on fruits and vegetables, promoting white milk, serving a nutrient-packed morning meal, encouraging a selection of reimbursable meals, creating a welcoming cafeteria atmosphere, and integrating students and community within your breakfast program. Let's jump into each category and see how we can make our breakfast programs more well-rounded. Right now, how about we take another poll? If you would, please type into the chat box what your program has tried in your breakfast or lunch program to increase consumption of fruits and vegetables.
This
Into an
conference will
apple
now
with
be
raisins.
recorded.
Try doing more fresh fruit and veggies. Salad bar. Salad bars are excellent. There's so many things you can put in a salad bar. Thank you guys so much for sharing. We are grateful to the 4 Montana school districts who test piloted the breakfast scorecard during the last school year. These schools were Cascade School. We actually have a wonderful example from this school where fruit is displayed in a decorative bowl with veggie cups. Gardner School, Hinsdale School, and Manhattan Christian School, where we see that there are plenty of convenient breakfast choices provided. As we go through the sections of the scorecard, we will share with you examples of the actions these schools took, including making white milk more accessible, having fresh fruit displayed decoratively, and making breakfast more convenient. Our first category focuses on fresh fruits and vegetables. One simple goal we could accomplish would be to put fresh fruit in a decorative bowl. Students eat with their eyes first, and presentation helps entice students. Labeling meal items with creative names can be fun and easy. Simple, silly names like Johnny Appleseed apples or Greeny grapes can make food more fun for kids to pick out. Here we see how Hinsdale changed their bowl from metal to this pretty glass and offered mixed fruit for more color variety. Gardner School has a colorful fruit parfait, and Manhattan Christian School has a double basket. This next category discusses milk as part of a complete breakfast. Both white and chocolate milk are good choices for lunch, but having white milk is a better choice for breakfast since it doesn't have the added sugar that chocolate does. Limiting the amount of chocolate milk that students can actually see subtly nudges them to choose white milk. We could place the white milk in front of chocolate milk and all other beverages. We see that Gardner moved their milk closer to the breakfast service line, and Cascade has all white milk showing in their cooler. Here is the category that emphasizes protein and scratch cooking. If we have the opportunity to fill kids' empty tanks in the morning, let's make sure we are filling them with the most brain-boosting, nutritious foods possible. This section of the scorecard looks at offering more protein at breakfast, setting goals to increase scratch cooking, make smart purchasing choices to limit added sugar in yogurt and breakfast cereals, and considering milk options at breakfast. Making sure that breakfast doesn't consist largely of processed grains can be difficult. So why should we emphasize protein for breakfast? Protein at breakfast helps keep blood sugar levels steady. Carbohydrates are burned quickly, and a meal lacking in other nutrients can lead to a lack of energy, cause headaches, and drowsiness. A balanced meal of protein, fat, and carbohydrates will give kids staying power. Protein keeps students full for longer, so hunger pains don't happen within the first hour or so of class. Convenient breakfast items with protein can get repetitive, but with small ingredient changes, breakfast can be kept fresh. Remember to combine as many food groups into one item as possible. Kids don't have as much time to eat breakfast in the morning, so convenience is key. Modifying recipes for practicality is an excellent way to form meals right for your school. This could be an opportunity to host a taste test for students and let them choose a creative name for that new recipe. Another way to integrate vegetables into breakfast is to substitute ingredients. Instead of having a croissant sandwich with ham, bacon, or cheese, swapping the meat with cucumbers or a slice of lettuce would make for a more well-balanced meal. There are many ideas to incorporate lean protein into breakfast. Looking to have a fun, simple morning snack? Try serving apple slices with sunflower butter and cinnamon. Yogurt and cold cereals should be plain or have a minimal amount of sugar added. The same principle applies when picking out granola for parfaits. We should try to avoid the higher sugar content. A black bean and egg burrito with diced tomatoes and peppers sneaks some veggies into a popular morning meal. We don't always have to add cheese or potatoes. The last item in the section is milk. As we mentioned before, we don't want to overload students with added sugar in the morning, so white milk may be a more balanced choice than chocolate milk. Some schools choose to offer white milk alone at breakfast. However, this is a choice to be made by each individual school. And now I am going to momentarily hand the reins to Molly, and she will talk about protein tips.
Thank you, Alex. So when we were preparing for this webinar, we wanted to reach out to our awesome school food service peer educators and ask them what are their best tips and tricks to add protein into um, every morning meal, or at least 4 out of 5 mornings have some protein available with their school breakfast. And they came back with great information, and these are their tips. If you have an entree that doesn't have protein built in, For that day, it's easy to offer a yogurt or a cheese stick. Is my voice echoing? The other thing you could do is try a bean and cheese burrito. This tip comes from Tammy Huam in Ennis. She offered individually wrapped bean and cheese burritos in her grab and go breakfast, and they were really a hit. You could use things like whole grain frozen waffles, pancakes, English muffins, or bagels to make breakfast sandwiches using your USDA eggs, USDA meat, or even peanut butter. And for some reason, your customers really like them to be individually wrapped versus just served out of a pan. Another idea is an egg bake or scrambled eggs made with USDA eggs, smoothies made with yogurt and frozen fruit. You could make your own burritos, and Maria Schwarzbach in Plentywood uses egg patties that have been cut in half and then adds cheese, and she also makes them with ham. More protein tips are to offer something as simple as a hard-boiled egg or cottage cheese. Prepare a hash brown bake with cheese and just a little bit of sausage. Robin Vogler in Summers, she does a baked egg frittata served in paper boats, and she makes that with USDA frozen eggs, tater tots, and a meat variety, either sausage or ham. And then she serves it either with fresh made salsa or the USDA salsa. Cindy Giese, peer educator from Lewistown area, suggested that quesadillas using whole grain tortillas are easy to make, using shredded cheese, diced ham, or bacon crumbles, or sausage crumbles. And then don't forget about peanut butter or sun butter is a low-cost protein that you can serve with apple slices or even with bagels or some of those other whole grains. So good tips, and thank you to our peer educators for sharing how they deal with this in their programs.
Yes, thank you everyone for sharing. I really like that idea with the baked egg frittata. That sounds very, very good. And some of those ideas can actually be used in scratch cooking, which is what we will be discussing next. So, what does the smell of fresh food do for you? Well, it draws us in and gets our stomachs ready to eat. Scratch cooking creates this at-home feeling and provides many advantages. Freshly made food lacks the added fat, salt, and preservatives that are in its packaged food counterparts. When scratch cooking, we might be able to make more servings to serve at a later time of the week. For example, if a double batch is made, leftovers can be frozen for another mealtime. When baking for lunch, we could prepare 30 or more servings for breakfast. Scratch cooking could be potentially cheaper than processed entrees. Most importantly, students feel more supported and special when they come to breakfast and are served homemade meals. This creates a closer connection within the school community. There are simple, practical ways to add scratch cooking methods in the kitchen. Substitutes like fresh versus canned fruit are simple ways of making breakfast homemade. During the colder months, hot cereal could be offered once or twice a week in place of cold cereal. A simple yet delicious scratch cooking idea for breakfast are egg cups. Veggies can be added with scrambled eggs and put into muffin tins. The possibilities are endless. Scratch cooking does not always involve a stove or oven. No-bake energy balls could make an easy no-bake menu item. In our next category, we will be discussing boosting reimbursable meals. We focus here on getting kids ready to select, eat, and enjoy their breakfast. First impressions are very important, and students eat better in a welcoming environment where a positive start to the day happens. When Molly and I went to Irving School in Bozeman for breakfast on Monday, they did an excellent job of creating a comfortable cafeteria atmosphere. We had a delicious breakfast served while sitting with the kids. Everyone seemed to be having a relaxing morning and enjoyed their warm breakfast rounds. We found that if students were running late, they were able to take a sack breakfast to class. One of the points on the scorecard discusses having a share table. This gives students more chances to eat what they prefer, as well as keeps food from being thrown away that would otherwise be eaten by another student. So, which breakfast setup works best for your school? Depending on your school dynamic, one of the breakfast options will work best. Should, should breakfast be readily available and convenient for all your students? Breakfast in the classroom is at the start of the school day or during first period. There are a few methods to choose from. Simple breakfasts with all required components are consumed in the classroom, or individual breakfast components are delivered to classrooms in bins, or items are available on a cart for students to select. Students could also pick up breakfast in the cafeteria and take it back to the classroom to eat. Grab and go is a convenient way to pick up breakfast during designated serving periods and/or morning breaks. Bagged breakfasts are available for students to pick up, or individual breakfast components are set out for students. Breakfast after the bell is great for kids that are more hungry after first period. These meals are packaged as grab-and-goes that are handheld or easy to eat. Breakfast is served during morning break between 9 and 10 a.m. At Gardner High, students have study hall in the cafeteria during breakfast, making it convenient to eat and study. And here we see Gallatin Gateway's Second Chance Breakfast Cart, showing an available option for serving breakfast. This category focuses on the cafeteria atmosphere and student and community involvement. It's important that parents know their children are receiving well-balanced breakfasts. This raises awareness that will enrich breakfast time. Open house, as well as other school events, are great places to promote the breakfast program. We should consider inviting parents to breakfast to try the delicious meals served. Getting students, staff, and community involved could help increase participation. Asking students for feedback will improve meals and add new ideas. Regular participants can help create a breakfast menu of their liking. Don't forget to track feedback from all students, even the ones who don't eat, as well as from staff. At the end of the scorecard, we add up all of our points from each category. Remember not to get hung up on score. These are just opportunities for us to improve. Cascade Schools shows how they package their meals for on-the-go students. Thank you for the 4 schools that participated in piloting the breakfast scorecard. Most of these schools discuss displaying white milk in front of other beverages or closer to high traffic areas. Also, they aim to increase convenience by having grab-and-go type items for students in a hurry. Cycle menus provide the opportunity to change out items as needed without rewriting the entire menu. This allows flexibility and creativity. Cycle menus control costs, improve efficiency, reduce waste, meet standards, and most importantly, make students happy. If you are looking for resources to help fund your breakfast program, there are plenty of grants available. There are some through Montana No Kid Hungry. There is a deadline to apply for a $5,000 breakfast after the bell grant. That's coming up October 25th. OPI school nutrition programs will offer an equipment grant, and that will be discussed during the Wednesday webinar next month. We have awesome Clay Hickman at OPI that you can contact with your questions, and the Montana School Food Service Peer Educator Network. Wisconsin has an amazing breakfast guide to help inspire ideas you'd like to implement into your program. And recipes are of abundance online, but it's nice to have recipes that are organized and geared more towards kids. So we have Montana School Recipe Roundup Cookbook, New School Cuisine Cookbook, and Healthier Kansas Menus. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
If anyone has questions, you can type them into the chat box, or you can unmute yourself by clicking on the microphone by your name, and you can ask it over the phone line as well. So it looks like one of the things that came through the chat is, I love the idea of cooking once and serving the item twice. Do schools do that often? And if so, what are some examples? Do any of you have recipes that work really well for both breakfast and lunch? Does anybody do any whole grain muffins? I know in our Montana recipe book we have a carrot muffin that's really good, or a whole grain apple cake. And either one of those could be used for breakfast or for lunch. Good. We make scrambled eggs with ham or sausage. The leftovers are used to make breakfast pizza or burritos. Great idea.
Oh, I like the idea for yogurt parfaits, because if you have uneaten fruit, you can integrate that into a future breakfast item.
This is a great compliment to end on. Katie Bark has in the chat box, good job, Montana schools. You are making your service lines look so appealing to kids and adults. And really setting the stage to start kids off on a path to success each morning that they're having breakfast with you. So if there's any other questions, please unmute and ask or type it into the chat. If not, we will sign off shortly. I will send example of some breakfast cycle menus out with the handouts for the webinar. And again, remember that you can get your certificate of participation in MAPS. And we thank you for your time today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I had fun.
Have a good afternoon, everyone. Bye.
Bye.